Hey, it's me, Mr. Wells. Nice to see you here today. Actually, I can't see you. You can see me, but I can't see you. That's interesting how this works. Today, we're going to be reading from Agatha Christie's Murder on the Orient Express. We're going to be in part two, chapter 10, The Evidence of the Italian. Remember, Hercule Poirot, the world's most famous detective, is interviewing all the passengers on the train to see who might be the murderer. Hopefully, you're filling out your sheet as we go along here. I am going to move the due date back by a couple weeks because I don't think we're going to get this done in time for the due date. But hopefully, you've been following along. So let's go. Chapter 10, Evidence of the Italian. And now, said Perrault with a twinkle in his eye, we will delight the heart of Monsieur Bach and see the Italian. Antonio Foscarelli came into the dining car with a swift, cat-like tread. His face beamed. It was a typical Italian face, sunny-looking and swarthy. He spoke French well and fluently with only a slight accent. Your name is Antonio Foscarelli? Yes, monsieur. You are, I see, a naturalized American subject. The American grinned. Yes, monsieur, it is better for my business. You are an agent for Ford Motor Cars? Yes, you see, a voluble exposition followed. At the end of it, anything that the three men did not know about Foscarelli's business methods, his journeys, his income, and his opinion of the United States and most European countries seemed a negligible factor. This was not a man who had to have information dragged from him. It gushed out. His good-natured, childish face beamed with satisfaction as, with a last eloquent gesture, he paused and wiped his forehead with a handkerchief. So you see, he said, I do big business. I'm up to date. I understand salesmanship. You have been in the United States, then, for the last 10 years, on and off? Yes, monsieur. Ah, well do I remember the day I first took the boat to go to America, so far away. My mother, my little sister. Perrault cut short the flood of reminiscence. During your sojourn in the United States, did you ever come across a deceased? Never, but I know the type. Oh, yes. He snapped his fingers expressively. It's very respectable, very well dressed, but underneath, it's all wrong. Out of my experience, I should say he was the big crook. I give you my opinion for what it's worth. Your opinion is quite right, said Perrault dryly. Ratchet was Cassetti, the kidnapper. What did I tell you? I have learned to be very acute, to read the face. It is necessary. Only in America do they teach you the proper way to sell. You remember the Armstrong case? I do not quite remember. The name, yes. It was a little girl, a baby, was it not? Yes, a very tragic affair. The Italian seemed the first person to demur to this view. Ah, well, these things happen, he said philosophically. In a great civilization such as America, Perrault cut him short. Did you ever come across any members of the Armstrong family? No, I don't think so. It is difficult to say. I will give you some figures. Last year alone, I sold. Monsieur, pray confine yourself to the point. The Italian's hands flung themselves out in a gesture of apology. A thousand pardons. Tell me, if you please, your exact movements last night, from dinner onwards. With pleasure. I stay here as long as I can. It is more amusing. I talk to the American gentleman at my table. He sells typewriter ribbons. Then I go back to my compartment. It is empty. The miserable John Bull, who shares it with me, is away attending to his master. At last he comes back, very long face as usual. He will not talk, says yes and no. A miserable race, the English, not sympathetic. He sits in the corner, very stiff, reading a book. Then the conductor comes and makes our beds. Numbers 4 and 5, murmured Perrault. Exactly. The end compartment. Mine is the upper berth. I get up there. I smoke and read. The little Englishman has, I think, the toothache. He gets out a little bottle of stuff that smells very strong. He lies in bed and groans. Presently, I sleep. Whenever I wake, I hear him groaning. Did you know if he left the carriage at all during the night? I do not think so. That I should hear. A light from the corridor. One wakes up automatically, thinking it is the customs examination at some frontier. Did he ever speak of his master, ever express any animus against him? I tell you he did not speak. He was not sympathetic, a fish. You smoke, you say, a pipe, cigarette, cigar? Cigarettes only. Perrault proffered one, which he accepted. Have you ever been in Chicago? Inquired Monsieur Bach. Oh, yes, a fine city, but I know best. New York, Cleveland, Detroit. You've been to the States? No, you should go. Perot pushed a sheet of paper across to him. If you will sign this and put your permanent address, please. The Italian wrote with a flourish. Then he rose, his smile as engaging as ever. Is that all? You do not require me further? Good day to you, messieurs. I wish we could get out of the snow. I have an appointment in Milan. He shook his head sadly. I shall lose the business. He departed. Perrault looked at his friend. He has been a long time in America, said Monsieur Bach, and he's an Italian, and Italians use the knife, and they are great liars. I do not like Italian. Ça se voit, said Perrault with a smile. Well, it may be that you are right, but I will point out to you, my friend, that there is absolutely no evidence against the man. And what about the psychology? Do not Italians stab? Assuredly, said Perrault, especially in the heat of a quarrel. But this is a different kind of crime. I have the little idea, my friend, that this is a crime very carefully planned and staged. It is a far-sighted, long-headed crime. It is not, how shall I express it, a Latin crime. It is a crime that shows traces of a cool, resourceful, deliberate brain. I think an Anglo-Saxon brain. He picked up the last two passports. Let us now, he said, see Miss Mary Debenham. All right, so make sure you're filling out your sheet. Make sure you hit like, subscribe, enable your notifications so you can see all my great ELA videos. Talk to you later. Bye. Wow, only 6 minutes and 43 seconds. 46 seconds.